Hey, Finn here for LocalGov Drupal. So I'm just going to have a look at Xdebug with VS Code and DDev for PHP unit tests in LocalGov Drupal. I've just run my DDev start command, so I fired up the DDev containers, and if I do DDev status, then it will show us all of the URLs that are available, including the Selenium Chrome driver, which is something that I'm interested in right now. This allows us to connect to NoVNC and potentially to watch our JavaScript functional JavaScript tests run in real time. So if I do DDev SSH and then PHP unit and then the path to my LocalGov alert banner tests source functional JavaScript, then if I flip back to the VNC container, we should be able to see, if you blink and you miss it, it flashed up there with the test running with the browser, and in this case, because it's a functional JavaScript test, it actually uses a real browser, which is why we've got the Selenium Chrome driver. Now, it's given us an error saying from the alert banner hide test.php line 59, which is this line here. So it's super useful now to be able to pause on that line and see actually what's going on, because it obviously goes pretty quickly when you're watching it. In VS Code, you have your configuration file for Xdebug. In this case, it's important to make sure that the internal path for DDev is mapped to the correct place. There's some help text elsewhere to make sure you've got your configuration correct. Actually, before I start Xdebug, I'm just going to make sure that Xdebug is on here inside DDev by doing Xdebug on. That toggles the Xdebug extension for PHP on and off. If I then start my Xdebug and now run the PHP unit test, with any luck, it should come down to the line. It was a little bit slower when running Xdebug, but it stops on the line where I asked it to stop, where I put in a breakpoint on line 59. And if I flip back to the browser window, I can see it stopped on this page where it's got indeed the alert banner, and I think it's trying to click that button. If we look in our variables on the left, we can see actually the button object is null, so it's not actually found this button called hides. And I have just made this wrong on purpose. The reason is it should be hide and not hides. So I can just let that play on through, come back and tweak it again to leave it as hide. This time, if we run our functional JavaScript test again, it should stop at the same place. And we can have a quick look at indeed, the button variable is now populated with a bhat mink element node element, which has lots of interesting stuff in it, but I think that then allows it to have the click. And if I step over that, yes, it hasn't errored, and it's going through the assertions. And so we can step through our code and watch the variables change on the left, and indeed just press play to let it finish out. And this time it said, okay, it passed, there were no failures, but there were issues. And actually this is just deprecations in PHP. I say it's reporting deprecations in PHP, which does not mean the test has failed, but is worth taking note of. Indeed, the browser output was also generated, so you can go back and step through that browser output, the static output that we saw briefly in the browser. So yeah, there you go. It's hopefully quite simple to use Xdebug with PHP unit, and invaluable when you're testing PHP unit tests that are failing and you're not quite sure why. I hope you'll have fun with it.